Well, welcome back to the channel. It has been a little while. Today we are out on the Project CX500, at least one of them. This is the one that is my buddy's that I was kind of restoring enough to hopefully maybe flip and sell. I think the last actual video I did on this was when I was doing the water pump fix on it. Since then I've done a whole host of work to it, honestly. Valve adjustments, tons of polishing. It's super smooth. Not really sure what RPMs I'm at. Hopefully you can hear me. There's no fairing on this. But the tach does not work on this, and it does redline at 9,500 RPM, which is pretty cool. All in all, we've changed out the full fork fluid years ago. Him and his buddy rebuilt them, so I just put in fresh fluid, actually thicker fluid, so they have a little bit better dampening up front. Gosh, I had all sorts of electrical issues that I basically were self-inflicted based on the churn signals, because on this old wiring, the black wire is not the ground, it's in fact the hot wire. So that was a mistake on my part. Had problems with the oil light not turning off, the temperature gauge not working. That come out to be all tied up to a bad taillight bulb, oddly enough. It is a dummy light on this bike, and if the taillight goes out, all of that kind of goes haywire. Strange, I know. So I just put in a new bulb, which oddly enough, neither of my filaments were burnt out. I just put in a new bulb, and then they worked. But I would say this is the first actual ride this bike has been on in 5 years, maybe 6 years. I did do a little baby test ride down the road to the gas station. Whoop, neutral. I made it down there fine, brought it home, checked everything. I did discover it does have a little leak on the front camshaft holder, which is also where the fan goes and is also where the tachometer is driven off of. Wow, that was a lot of gravel. So I suspect that part of the tapping noise I'm hearing is coming from that front cam drive. The worm gear basically is stripped out, which is pretty common on these actually. Worse enough is sometimes it ruins the end of the camshaft where the gearing is, and then you're basically just forced to go to a digital tach, unfortunately. And then also, since you can't put the fan back on the end of the camshaft, you're also forced to go to a electric fan. I have seen forum posts where guys disassembled all that and found out that the end of their camshaft was basically cracked off. It's a little more common than what I would like. I don't know if I'm really going to tear into it. At this point we're in the bike, you know, I think a couple hundred. We put a new battery on it and did all the services on it and replaced a bunch of bits, but it's just, at the end of the day, these bikes aren't worth a whole lot, and I don't know that I really want to invest that much money in them. But it's been a fun project. Learned quite a few things on this, especially to translate into his chopper version that we're building. And so far it's running really good. The front end feels really good with that fork fluid. Gonna try to put, you know, 10-20 miles on it for a shakedown and see what happens. Temperatures are all reading good. The speedometer obviously bounces. Not sure what's causing that. Could be a loose worm gear down in the hub or something. By now, the videos come out that I sold the Sportster. So if you haven't seen that announcement, go back, check it out. But she is officially gone. I think it was posted for, gosh, I don't know, 3 weeks maybe. Lots of inquiries, lots of people asking questions how I did stuff. Lots of flakes and no-shows, obviously, because, you know, it's the internet. But yeah, it went to a nicer, older gentleman. I'm kind of actually glad it did. He absolutely adored the bike, and he owns a couple other motorcycles, a couple classic cars. Loved what I did with the bike, and he was basically going to use it to tear up the back roads where he lives. So if you guys see it out and about, I don't know. I don't think he also mentioned he's kind of detached from the internet, so he doesn't know any of the bike's backstory. I told him where I took it and all the stuff I've built for it and all that stuff. He loved the garage, checked out the project bikes. But yeah, if you see him out and about, just tell him nice bike. No real need to tell him who I am. Just tell him you love it. So in the pipeline for future projects, I'm hoping I don't really do much more to this. If we decide to fix the leak in the front and the fan and all and the tack, it'll probably be another $100 with gaskets and all that stuff, which I don't know if Manny actually wants to do. I don't even know if it's worth it, because these really don't hold value at all. It's kind of a passion project if you really like them. And parts are cheap if you want to learn how to work on a bike. Parts are cheap on them. Their drive shaft is pretty little maintenance. I think the valves get adjusted about every 7,000 miles. And it's really easy to adjust the valves. I was kind of surprised. I even did it twice just to make sure, you know. It was my first time actually adjusting valves, and it's not hard at all. You just take your time, make sure everything's in adjustment and lined up with the marks on the crank on this bike anyways, and it's pretty forward. But otherwise, from this bike, we have Manny's chopper I need to finish up, which I'm going to try to hit that bike here hard with springtime now. I got backyard projects I want to do, and I want to be able to get that bike started and then send some parts off to powder coat. And then right behind that, I got a lot of DR upgrades to do. So I should be getting the parts in for the DR here soon, and I'll film a video on all the new upgrades for the DR, because I am planning on doing a pretty lengthy trip on that bike down south again with a buddy of mine. So I'll probably announce that in the maintenance video. I think I'll give more details. Right behind that, we're going to be bringing in the Dyna. I want to do a 3-hole service on it and probably pull off the handlebars, the risers, maybe a few other bits, and get them repowder coated, because they're really badly sun faded. Let's give this thing a little bit of the beans. Not bad, and feels about the same acceleration as my Sportster did. It just sounds a little like exotic, and obviously I don't even know if I'm revving it up high enough. I mean, this thing goes to the moon. I was just kind of going until it felt like it started to plateau. Temp looks like it's holding perfect still, so that's good. And we are officially at 12 miles on this bike. So yeah, I'll do some upgrades on the Dyna. I personally would really like to put a new 2-in-1 exhaust on it and get a new tuner and maybe get like a cool S&S intake on it. But that is Jess's bike, and she's already got enough upgrades going on between her Road Glide and Pan America. So that's up to her budget if she wants to do all that. But yeah, I just want to give the dyno a little refresh and get it back up to snuff, so maybe I can ride it around now that the Sporty's gone. And I think we're going to have a couple friends ride the dyno around when they come into town, which will be cool. She'll get some love. And then I still got my dad's Kawasaki that I'm still working on. I need to come up with steering bump stops, and I need to pull the carb out. Oh, that was a deer. And get that carb cleaned up, run some oil lines, might have to replace some gaskets, which will be fun to source. Yeah, if you notice too, I'm also riding this bike around in a loop just in case I break down. I'm not too far. Get all this gravel here. The winter really slowed me down, and then the back issues really slowed me down. To be completely transparent, I tried to see if I was even eligible for disability in the state of Ohio, and it turns out Ohio is one of the hardest states to receive disability. Even on top of that, I mean, back issues are like the #1 basically claim, and it's one of the hardest to get qualified for. If you want to get approved for disability in the state of Ohio, they basically tell you to lawyer up, or you have to have serious ailments. For me, I'm still young, and the fact that I'm young kind of negates me. Doesn't matter what back kind of condition I'm claiming. Their status on that is basically I am young enough to make a career change and seek alternative employments. So yeah, that is what it is. I mean, I get it. I'm not trying to milk the government or live off of them or exploit them. I was just like, where am I on the disability list? And I'm not even registering. So since about the beginning of February, I've been going through kind of a rehabilitation physical workout routine. Started out doing about four days a week, trying to clean up my diet in the last year, really. Trying to reduce inflammation. I think it's kind of helped. I don't know, we'll see in the summer. That's what I'm really trying to build myself up for, is this summer, to be able to do the longer trips. But every once in a while, you know, I get a little jolt of lightning up the back, and I gotta take anti-spasm muscle pills and muscle relaxers, and then yeah, just kind of something I'll have to deal with. And trying to rebuild back some sort of muscle normalcy. So we'll see how that goes in the coming months, hopefully. Well, we're officially at almost 15-16 miles, so that's pretty cool. I'm actually really surprised how smooth it is, like, really surprised. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a majority of the updates of what's been happening over the last couple months. Where the channel's going to be going. I'm going to be trying to do some projects, a couple little road trips. I really don't know the consistency of my uploads, unfortunately. It's just as I do stuff. This little shakedown ride honestly was spur of the moment. It's going to be a nice 75 degrees today. I think it's like mid-60s right now. It's supposed to storm later, and then tomorrow it's going to be a high of 49. So this warm weather in Ohio hasn't settled in yet. We're still coming off the back end, and I don't know, hopefully here in the next month or so we can really get out and start doing some day trips on the DR, get my sea legs back together. And I still want to go back down to Athens to ride more of the Windy 9. Not sure if I'll take the wife's Pan America, because she's got some pretty good trips coming up and she's kind of preparing for that, and I don't want to put any more miles on that bike than I need to. So might be taking the Dyna down maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I feel confident enough to take this down for a 150-mile road trip day. That would be kind of a lot. The riding of position on this is pretty aggressive, to be honest. I'm even wearing my kidney belt right now just to kind of alleviate some of the stress. I think that's where I'm going to call it for this video. Hopefully you guys go back, check out some of the live streams I did. Let me know if you want me to do any more of those. Let me know what project you're mostly excited for, the Dyna, the Kawasaki, the DR, or if you're just looking forward to see that next big road trip on the DR I keep talking about. But if you watch this far, thank you for watching, and until next time, take it easy. She is a little spunky little thing, isn't she? Like, she wants to go, she just doesn't have a whole lot of top end.